So, does your digital modeler sound like a tube amp? Well, probably not. And I'm here to give you some reasons on why I don't think it needs to. So just thinking loosely on guitar history, we started with hollow body guitars. Now hollow body guitars were hard to hear because they were being played in big band music, and they were being played acoustically. So the next step was to figure out how to make them louder. This is when guitar players started using amps. Now, amps don't faithfully reproduce what a guitar sounds like acoustically, but it was necessary because they needed to be heard in the mix of a big band. Then guitar players started turning their amps up. And this could be for various reasons. Maybe you wanted louder volume, or maybe you enjoyed the overdriven tones you were getting. Whatever the reason, this led guitar players to go onto solid body guitars, because hollow body guitars had feedback issues when you started to turn the amp up. Now, if you ever played a solid body guitar and a hollow body guitar, then you know that they don't sound similar. But if you were going to play that type of music that required you to play louder or to play with a bit of drive to it, solid body guitars are almost the way to go. All right, so just to speed this through, then we get to pedals, because everybody didn't have access to maybe a Marshall amp or this certain Fender amp, or even rack mounted delays or things of that nature. So pedals offered a way into that. Now, just like with solid body and hollow body guitars, pedals don't sound like a gain naturally turned up. Pedals don't sound like those rack mounted delays. Pedals don't sound like natural reverb, but they were convenient for the use. So what is my point and what am I getting at? Well, now we're at digital, and you pretty much are getting all of that in one package. I'm reminded of a quote: there are no solutions, there are only trade-offs. If you think about the history of that I just mentioned, again, that was very loosely wrapped up. All of these things were created to fix a problem rather than being necessarily better than what was previously given. The first thing I'm going to start off with is consistency. No more showing up to a fly date and they have your least favorite amp. Me personally, I don't enjoy playing through Vox amps, but that doesn't matter anymore. I can show up with my Fractal FM3 that I'm using, and I'll have the same sound that I had in my bedroom at the local gigs or whatever. It'll all be the same. One of the other problems that I would run into was, when using a traditional pedal board setup, is sometimes the overdrives are not overdriving the same through a different amp. Or maybe I was using a lower wattage amp and they have a higher wattage amp. Or, all these different things and factors, will happen when using different amps and playing at different volumes too. But that doesn't matter anymore. The sound that I'm getting right here is the same sound that you would hear at louder volumes and at a lower volume, which is what is being heard right now. I'm pretty much speaking louder than you can hear that. So that's the same sound regardless of volume of anything external factors. It is all coming just from here. So I have control over that. A lot of guitar players love to hate on the fact that, modelers have a lot of options or too many options. But I see that as a user problem than it is the unit itself, right? You don't have to go through all of these menus. You don't have to do all of these extra things, to achieve a certain sound. But it allows that exploration, which then can help you, achieve your sound. Without these many options, I wouldn't have gotten into fuzz, or I wouldn't have gotten into some other amps that are in here. Now, the Fractal FM3 has over 200 amps. I'm not going to use 200 amps, but I may use a few. And having those options helps me determine which few I would use. Now, I mostly use a clean palette kind of amp. I like Fenders. I like a Marshall set on clean, things of that nature. And then I use my pedals to get gain. But more recently, I've started using other amp sounds through digital modelers, and I've used different types of pedals. Here recently, I've gotten into fuzz, something that I never would have thought I would enjoy. Guitar players see multi-effects units and digital modelers as expensive, but you really should see them as more of a financial investment. Now, I had the FM3, and as of today, it costs around $1,100. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, you're getting over 200 amps, you're getting over 100 drives, you're getting delays, reverbs, modulation, all of these different things, all packed in one. And the FM3 has been around for 3 or 4 years, while you have the Line 6 Helix that's been around for 8 years, and you have the Kemper that's been around for 12 years. So as far as financial investment, I think you're coming out on top buying one of the digital modelers rather than going the traditional pedal board route, where they're constantly releasing new pedals that you'd have to buy and that you have to audition. And in some ways you can't get access to at a local store, right? With a digital modeler or multi-effects pedal, all you have to do is download an update from your house, and you can check it out and see whether you like it or not, just from the home. Speaking of traditional pedal boards, they're a lot harder to route than, say, your digital modeler or multi-effects units. A lot of multi-effects units today come standard with multiple outs, MIDI, and different recording capabilities, whether USB or using one of those outs. One of the things I love to do now is to run stereo, and I kind of do it in a faux stereo way where I'm running one out to my amp that's unaffected by an amp sim or cab, and then I run another out to the PA that is affected by the amp sim and cab. Now, on your standard pedal board, that's a little harder to do. It's not that hard, but it's a little more time consuming and a lot more to think about when you're talking about, the amount of space you're able to have on that pedal board. Obviously, everything isn't all good with digital modeling, but these are just some of the things to consider, especially if you're a gigging musician like myself, where I'm playing out 2 or 3 times a week and doing a couple fly dates. It's just way more convenient to have digital modeling nowadays, where I can just show up. In some of those cases, I can't even bring an amp, as such is the nature of the world today. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like as I try to grow this channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.